Hey everybody, I wanted to give an example of what it means for our kids not to be our report card, specifically our teens. And somebody had asked about this in the comments section of one of my other videos. And so I've been thinking about it and I thought I'm going to do a teen video and then eventually I'll do a younger kids video. And for the teen video, I wanted to share an example from my own life. So I think it was sophomore-ish year of high school for me. I was hanging out with a bunch of friends and one of the guys that we were hanging out with gave my friend and I some cigarettes. So we took the cigarettes, we brought them home to her house. Her parents were away for the weekend and we smoked a bunch of cigarettes. So whether you think smoking is a sin or not isn't really the point. I mean, I was 15 or 16 years old. It wasn't legal for me. And so for me, it was definitely not okay behavior. And when I got home the next day from spending the night at my friend's house, I remember telling my dad. He asked me how my time was. And I told him, had a good time, whatever. And then I said, I smoked some cigarettes. And so if you're a parent, I just want to encourage you to stop right now and think about how you would react if your 15, 16-year-old daughter came home from spending time with a friend and she told you that she smoked cigarettes. Or let's say you just discovered it on your own. You might feel a bunch of different emotions. You might feel angry. Oftentimes, I think we feel as parents scared or nervous. We don't really know what to do, and that can manifest itself in anger. And we feel like we have to jump on a situation quickly, either teach or punish or something like that. But here's an example of, and the reason oftentimes that we do that is because we feel like what our child has done is a reflection on our parenting. And so I think this is just really kind of a cool response that my dad had to me and my behavior at this point in time. He just looked at me really calmly. He didn't respond emotionally. And he smiled at me. And when he smiled, it was like he was showing, I knew that I'd done something wrong. But he was showing me that he loved me and accepted me even in the midst of this behavior. And so he just calmly said to me, that's interesting. You want to be a singer, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, I wonder what smoking is going to do to your voice if that were something that you would continue to do. Have you thought about that? And I said, no. And he said, that might be something to think about if you're going to continue to choose this behavior. And that was it. So he didn't make it about him. He didn't get angry or show that he wasn't loving me. He didn't show that he was disapproving of me. He didn't approve of my behavior. And he certainly could have given me a consequence. But what happened was I thought about what he said. And I did want to be a singer. And so I thought, oh, yeah, like smoking cigarettes could affect my vocal cords. It could affect my lungs. I'm not sure if it's such a good idea. So I didn't smoke again for a long time. And then I came across a situation where I had the temptation to smoke. And it was maybe a year or I don't know, some time again in high school. And I smoked again. But while I was smoking the entire time, I was thinking about what my dad had said. I mean, obviously this is so many years later and it still stuck with me. And so did I smoke again? Yes, I did. I smoked, I don't know how many times, handful of times. Maybe more. I don't know. I can't remember. But point being, there was wisdom growing in me as I had to kind of play out the scenario in my mind. And I knew that in the midst of it, I was loved. And it was the love and the wisdom building that my dad did in working in my heart and in my conscience that eventually brought me to a place of saying, I don't want to smoke. I want to honor God with my body, and I want to be able to sing and have the career that I want to have. So I didn't smoke anymore. So that was an example of a process. I think sometimes, particularly with teens, we're so used to, with little kids, them having some kind of behavior or sin or episode, and we quickly put out the fire. We just want it done. And sometimes that works. But with teens, it's not going to work as well. If my dad had said to me, "You're never going to smoke again," if he'd yelled at me, if he had punished me, it's possible that I would have hidden the behavior from my parents in the future. It's possible that I would have rebelled. It's possible that I would have thought about how angry he was instead of about what it was that I was doing to myself, and I would have fought back against him instead of letting this wisdom and responsibility for myself take root in my heart. So as our kids mature, and I would say even when they're little, but especially as they mature and as they're teens, we have to let go of that grasp of control that we have of our kids. And we have to realize that they're going to be making some decisions and that they have to work through some paths and figure things out, and we're going to walk alongside them and help them grow in wisdom and grow in responsibility. And if we are butting heads with them and choosing fights with them, it's going to be a lot harder to capture their hearts and to be able to build the things and the messages that we want to build in them. So we show them love no matter what they do. We show them they're accepted. We show them they're safe. We're a safe person to come to when they mess up, when they make a bad choice, when they sin. And we help them walk through the process that takes place after we make those kinds of choices in our lives. So yeah, that's my story, my story about my dad. Just such a great parenting moment. And just it stuck with me all of these years. And it's the kind of manner and foundation and message that I'm trying to build in my kids right now. And I would say that it's been really, really fruitful. So just to be clear, this isn't meant to be like an entire teaching on how to parent or to say that we never give consequences, but just to emphasize that our kids don't define us. They're not our report card. And that when we approach them with love and acceptance, we're going to be far more likely to reach their hearts. Just as it's God's kindness that leads us into repentance, it's oftentimes our kindness as parents that helps our kids understand the bigger messages that we want to give them. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any stories of your own that you want to share in the comments.